Welcome to this week's episode of Your Stock Request for the 22nd of February. Hi, I'm Michael Gable, Managing Director at Fairmont Equities. Your Stock Request is the weekly video where I take your requests and analyse the share price charts. So this week we have New Hope, Bellview Gold, Latin Resources, IPD Group and QBE. So if you have a request, please send it through. Make sure you've signed up to our free newsletter, but our best stock tips come out on Tuesday in the Dynamic Investor Report. So please make sure you are subscribing to that report. But if you do enjoy these videos, we'd love you to share them on social media or even leave us a review. Our main business is in portfolio management, so if you'd like to have a broking account with me, please give me a call and I can explain how that works. And all the advice here is general only. So we've got the daily chart here of New Hope. As we could see, a bit of a sell-off in the past few days, and it's taken out that low from 2023. But what's interesting though, if we just zoom in, we could see that there was a big recovery off the lows yesterday on pretty decent volume. So it could be a sign of sort of exhaustion here. Basically investors giving up, big selling, only for the buyers to scoop in at those lower levels. So it'd be interesting to therefore see if we can get back above where this 2023 low was. So if you get a swift move back up above 460, then overall you could say, well, that was a false breakdown. It just triggered everyone's stops, and if it did rip higher, that would be the next buy signal. Okay, Bellevue Gold, if we just sort of zoom out to start with, we could see it's generally trended higher, but it has been quite choppy, big swings, and we can see that it's sort of undercut this previous low. So it's now made a lower low, which is not a great sign. Just looking at it a bit more closely, we've also got this sort of little double top here, and it couldn't quite overlap with that previous low. So you've got the sort of low, high, low, high, low. Couldn't even overlap that. So just like in this situation, you might see an acceleration to the downside. I think risk for the moment's to the downside. Otherwise, if you do see it get back above 150, then I think that starts to look a little bit more encouraging. But at the moment, I'd say the risk is to the downside. Okay, Latin Resources. So we've got this slide here, bounced at an interesting level. So if you have a look, just keep zooming out, we had this sort of pattern here where you had a breakout last year and a rally. That's where it's come back to. It's come back to that breakout zone and bounced. So, initially a positive, but ultimately it is still trending lower. So I think, if that is a low, we need to at least see a bit more time, moving sideways, maybe build a base. Or at least, get back above this sort of downtrend line, because at the moment, as I said, it is still trending lower. Okay, IPD Group, which is the code IPG. We did look at this one recently. It had a very interesting pattern here where it sort of dropped, bounced back up, and then consolidated very tightly under that major, pretty obvious resistance level at $5. And now we've had a clear break, and we can see the volume. So just sort of a textbook, breakout and buy signal. Hasn't got too far, so it still looks like there's an opportunity there. And you have your stop just under $5. Okay, finally QBE, worth starting off with a monthly chart, because longer term we could see it's been a massive underperformer since the peak here was before the GFC. But we do have a bit more interesting price action now. So you've had this sort of essentially a large base, a breakout there on the long-term chart. So it looks like it's starting to get a move on. And even if we move to a daily, we can see that you've had this sort of sideways motion and then even shorter term breakout, retest and rallying. So it does look like it will trend higher from here. Okay, well that's all for this week. If you have a request, send it through and I'll try to cover it next Thursday.